My last example is I wish to factor 6x minus 4, so I have my pieces strewn about here. So I'm going to start with something like this. Just stack them all in here. So there's my 6x. I'm going to now put my negative 1s up against them. And you probably have spotted my error here. And that is I have one little guy left over with no place to go because I'm trying to make a rectangle. So this model currently doesn't satisfy what I'm trying to do. So I need to rearrange my pieces a bit. So I'm going to try stacking these down the side here. And what you can see is that now I don't have enough negative 1s to go along all 6 of those edges. So that orientation isn't much help either. Let's put that back. So I'm going to move one last try here. I'm going to stack them along the edge of each other here in a horizontal fashion. See if that helps. And I think I might be onto something here. Looks like I'm going to have just enough space. And yep, I have made a rectangle. So now I need to take my area, work back and get my dimensions. So the factor of 6x minus 4, if I measure this edge here, I'm going to try positive 1s. And then I'm going to stack some x's on top. So 1 times x is x. That works out nicely. I'll bring 2 more up there since it's the same calculation. 1 times something is negative 1. And I'll place those in there just like that. So that means the factor of 6x minus 4, if I read those dimensions correctly, is I have a 2 on the left side here, a 3x minus 2 on top. If I check that with distributive property, 2 times 3x is 6x, 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Looks like I've got a match. And lastly, I'll check with the greatest common factor. Taking the two pieces and pulling them apart, I can see that I have a bolded 2 here in both lines. So the greatest common factor is 2. And once again, I'd like to point out that those unbolded terms here and here are what's left inside the bracket. So if you'd like to pause it for a moment here and try this self-check, I'd like to factor negative 6x minus 18, and then I'll post the solution. So here we go. There is my negative 6x minus 18, prearranged. This dimension here will be negative 6. The top will be x plus 3, and if I do a quick check, negative 1 times x is negative x. That works for all of those. Negative 1 times positive 1 is negative 1. That seems to work. So when I read the dimensions here, I have factored out a negative 6 out front. If I multiply that into the x plus 3, quick check with the distributive property, negative 6 times x is negative 6x. Negative 6 times positive 3, negative 18. And lastly, I will check with my greatest common factor, and I can see that I have a negative 1, a 2, and a 3, all common between those two terms. And once again, the leftover terms, the x and the 3, are what's left inside the bracket. Thank you for your time. If you have any suggestions, questions, comments, concerns, please send me an email at childs_math@yahoo.com. Thank you. Good night.